Are you the type of player that wants to learn more information so you can play the game the best you possibly can? Of course you are. So we're going to take a look at 10 tips and tricks to help you along your journey. Drop a like if you enjoy the video and subscribe for more. For the weapons, all you have to do is go to your inventory and click F1 on your keyboard for every speck of information your weapon entails. Also, when you're in the modules, in the bottom left, you can press tab to see exactly how the modules that you put on your weapon impact the overall performance of the gun itself. For Descendants, we simply come into our inventory screen and press the W key for more info. This will give you information based on starting points for stats, as well as changes made when equipping modules for defense, skill power, resistances, and plenty more information that is well useful so you can tailor to exact builds you're hoping to make. For tip number 2 is going to be all about the animation for falling. If this is something that kind of annoys you when jumping from tall heights, well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. By simply aiming and shooting your gun, you can completely ignore the animation from any height, allowing you to keep going on with whichever task you're up to. For tip number 3 is showing the damage per second of every weapon with your mods equipped without having to open them up. Looking at all your weapons here, we have a module logo down below, and when clicking on it, it will actually show the weapon's max damage with the modules you have equipped for each gun. Easily compare all of your guns and switch as you'd like. Tip number 4 is about reload animation canceling. You have a couple of methods here, and every gun has a different cancel timing set to them, but for the weapon you're using, I've noticed it cancels itself either when rolling, grappling, or casting an ability, or the best one so far, simply holding down the aim button, which is the right click or left trigger on controller. It will cancel itself instantly. The best method would be aiming your weapon. Tip number 5 is weapon readjustment in Albion. In the workbench, you've probably come across this tab for weapons. What this does, it lets you re-roll your stats. Keep in mind, these will be random, you can't choose your own, but of course for a price. For ultimate weapons, you will need a fine adjustment control axis, and for rares, you simply need the original control axis. Once you've rolled what you needed or wanted, you can go ahead and lock them. But the price for re-rolling the others will increase as you lock the perks you want to keep and not re-roll. It can get quite expensive over time, so you just have to get lucky. Tip number 6 is going to be your difficulty level rewards. Go ahead and open your map, and if you're on hard mode, you can see on the bottom the difficulty level rewards. This will help you find the exact locations of where to farm specific things. For example, let's say we want another processor because the one we have isn't that good. Go ahead and tap F on your keyboard, go to the tab on the far right and choose processor. You will now have the location to farm the ultimate versions of them. For reactors, let's say you want a reactor for 𝗠𝗢𝗏, we'll change the far right tab to reactors and then click on the third tab and choose tech or dimension. Click on the area for toxic and it will take you to the location just like that. For tip number 7, we're going to change the public to private setting. Staying on the map, right before you choose an area you want to go to, in the top left there is the public setting. Simply clicking on it will change it to private. So if you're farming a specific part and the only way to get them to drop is through the relic missions, you can set it to private and go to each area you need to without having to worry about the random timings changing due to other players. And you can do this just in order to make it a more effective farm. Tip number 8, this may be an obvious one, but I wanted to share it anyway. In Albion, there is a laboratory next to your mailbox and the weapons lab director. This is where you can test your builds freely without having to rely on enemies shooting back, which is a nice touch. Freely take the most overpowered or underpowered weapons and test things out. You may just find a hidden gem. Tip number 9 is about carrying more ammo for your weapons without wasting the precious space on your main weapons mod slots. You would equip a second weapon with the same ammo type. Add on the second weapon the general rounds compulsive mod and use it as your main to pick up ammo. Preferably using an LMG would be best for they hold the most. Picking up general rounds and then switching to your main weapon is the key because you just gained all that ammo that you can now keep to use, pushing it past the normal limit. Of course, this can be way much more. For the sake of this showing, I barely have them leveled up. Now, tip number 10 and our final tip is about these guys right here. Have you come across them and wondered what they even are? Well, don't be afraid, they are simply extra teleportation areas around the map. If you ever see the area name, for example, this is Moonlight Lake, then tactical transport is or are nearby, open your map to try and find it. Having these extra locations is useful for farming specific missions or getting around the maps more efficiently. Now there is a build I posted for Fallen Hope. It's actually pretty amazing, and if you want to check it out, there's a link in the description as well as in the iCard in the top right corner of this video screen. Thank you for taking the time to watch. If you have any other tips you'd like to share with us, definitely put it in the comments below. Drop a like on this video and subscribe for more of the First Descendant content. Also remember to stay safe because the world without you is nothing.